Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Having been born and raised in Puerto Rico, this has been something that's devastated my family, has devastated the people that I love, and I thank you for your efforts. You know, there's an effort by some of my friends on the other side to say that the federal government's response has been inadequate. Would you say that the federal government's response has been inadequate?
I think everyone would agree that they wish that things were better today in Puerto Rico and faster, but I don't think I'm a judge as to what could have been done differently.
Correct. So we all wish that things were better, and no one expected. I think you said in your testimony that there was a complete breakdown of communications like we have never seen before. No one could have prepared for this. That's different than saying that the response was inadequate. In fact, Colonel Michael Valle, an Air Force officer who was born and raised in Puerto Rico and who's been in charge of some of the efforts in Puerto Rico, he said that any claim that the response has been inadequate is just not true. In fact, he told the Huffington Post, so I want to make sure that this was not a conservative publication. He told the Huffington Post that as a Puerto Rican, I can tell you that the problem has nothing to do with the U.S. military, FEMA, or DOD. The aid is getting to Puerto Rico. The problem is distribution. That's one of the problems that we've had from the beginning, that there was a complete breakdown of the things that were happening in Puerto Rico that no one could have foreseen. You wanted to respond to that?
I just want to add that part of it is also just standard operating procedures. So if you take your standard operating procedures from a land mass, like the mainland, and you apply them on the island and where communications have failed, it doesn't always work. And so I don't think that right now my job is to assign blame, but instead to just do what we all can do together to make this recovery faster.
I appreciate it, which is what we should be doing. Ms. Horesco, how do you view the Oversight Board's role in the recovery efforts?
I believe the Oversight Board's role is very important in the recovery efforts. It can make it more speedy. It can create greater confidence for all the taxpayers who are funding that recovery effort. Number one, integrating it with the fiscal plans. Number two, integrating with the plans of adjustment in the Title III cases. And number three, providing the oversight role that PROMESA gave us, both with contracting and in other areas.
Okay, I'm trying to read between the lines of your testimony. So I'm hearing a call for more tools and authority, while at the same time you're not calling for more tools and authority. So I want you to be really specific. I need you to be straight with us because you have a very important role. You stated that prior to the hurricane, the board possessed the authority to execute its mission and deliver on the underlying mandate Congress set with PROMESA, but with the devastation, you allude that those tools may be inadequate. So please tell us, what does the board currently have? Does the board currently have the tools necessary to facilitate efficient and effective recovery?
I'll try to be clear. I believe the board has the tools and PROMESA gives us the tools. That said, when there are disagreements, the use of those tools ends up in costly and time-consuming litigation. Today, more than ever, that time and that cost is not helping Puerto Rico. So we asked for clarity of the tools that we have, whether it is in the appointment of a CTO through Title III, whether it is the implementation of our contract policy review, or whether or not it is the implementation of the fiscal plans in full when certified.
So what else do you need to be successful? Is there anything else that we need to give you to be successful?
I think we would appreciate a legislative affirmation of those and or conditioning of appropriations on those powers as you see fit.
Okay. Mr. Samat, in the October 26 filing, the Oversight Board sought to give you significant authority to oversee the Power Restoration Plan and modernize PREPA. What are your immediate short-term goals for PREPA?
My immediate short-term goals are to actually integrate a lot of the resources that we have on the ground and ensure that we actually reach out both to all available resources outside of the island and integrate those in a coherent manner. We clearly need a better strategy to prioritize the areas, regions, and sectors and clusters that we need to revitalize, to repower, to grow and give power, electric power to the people. And we also need to ensure that we are very open in our reaching out to the APPA, EEI, and other agencies to bring in broad support, not just targeted support.
And do you have any long-term goals for PREPA?
Yes, sir. The transformation of PREPA is in accordance with the strategy, the Puerto Rico energy strategy, which is 50% renewables, 50% gas, renewable or regional grids, and a lot of resiliency.
And Mayor Perez Otero, I'm sorry I didn't have any time to ask you any questions, but thank you for what you're doing for the island and for the people of Puerto Rico. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Torres.
Back.